Republican Congressman Scott Fitzgerald of Wisconsin, who chairs the House Subcommittee on Antitrust and Regulatory Reform, is also a member of the House Financial Services Committee. Mr. Chairman, it's good to see you. Welcome back to Bloomberg TV and radio. Where's your head on this? Do you plan to hold hearings on this deal?
Well, I think everybody should just take a deep breath. What we saw under the Biden administration was kind of an immediate knee-jerk reaction to say, anytime you had two major names and they looked like they were even discussing a merger, that oftentimes there was just an onslaught of criticism. And then what happened is once the regulators and the enforcers kind of took a look at it, it made sense for consumers. And I think that's where we're at right now. I mean, we were watching kind of this public discussion go on about whether or not Paramount would outbid Netflix. And now we find ourselves in a position where that did not happen. So I think I'm cautiously optimistic that this is still very much viable and probably could move forward.
Interesting. And indeed, the Biden administration struggled with several attempts to block mergers and acquisitions. The point, though, in principle, this does not appear too big to allow from your perspective.
It does not. And I've had not specific discussions about this deal, but discussions with both Ferguson and Slaughter. And I think they, too, have said, listen, under a new administration, we're going to do the due diligence that is needed and required. But, we're not going to come right out of the gates and say that this is something that shouldn't happen. They're going to wait to allow things to play out, let the examinations happen, let the, like you said, I mean, massive deal as far as the finance piece goes. But that may be where we're at. I mean, we're seeing, 62% of Americans right now are frustrated with the streaming services the way they exist. So the idea that combining some of these streaming services, which is part of this deal, wouldn't make sense. I think to somehow pull the rug out from underneath that right now just is not. No one's doing their job if that's the way this is being handled. So, let's see where we're at. Let's see where the White House is on this too. I mean, the president, this is typically the type of thing he likes to weigh in on, and we'll see where he falls on this as well.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, are there provisions or guardrails that you would like to see in this deal to ensure that it, in fact, doesn't harm consumers, that it doesn't raise prices for consumers?
Yeah, you talked about the $60 billion in borrowing. I mean, that is a large number. But again, as a member of financial services, we see mergers all the time within the banking industry that I would say could rival that. So it's not completely out of the realm. It might be in this industry. But again, I think, the numbers, again, need to be scrutinized. But, sometimes this merger stuff is healthy. Senator Warren has been against any type of merger under any type of corporate structure. So that's not surprising, the knee jerk. But I feel like we need to allow the enforcers to do their job.
But, Congressman, isn't it important to be careful here? Because we know that Americans are concerned about their cost of living, both about the things that they need and the things that they want, like their entertainment. So isn't it important to consider the potential costs here for consumers if this deal does go through?
Yeah, I think it's really difficult to project kind of at the end of the day what this will mean for the actual price of a product that a consumer might actually want to purchase, because we've seen kind of projections on that in some of these other mergers, and it turns out just to not be accurate. So we need, again, I would say caution and pause on that front. You're right. The question of the price and the cost to consumers on just about any product or good right now is being scrutinized. But again, these streaming services is something that there's a lot of frustration on. The other area that we're involved in right now is the Sports Broadcasting Act, which again, when you talk about streaming, if you want to get somebody really riled up, talk to them about what they're paying for some of the channels and whether or not they can track their actual favorite sports team right now. It's very difficult for Americans And as a result of that, there's a lot of frustration, I think, overall in that area.
I want to ask you, Congressman, about one of the other big issues that we've been talking about today, and that's health care, with the promised vote next week in the Senate on a Democratic plan that we haven't seen yet, although we understand it could be up to a 3-year extension of the enhanced subsidies. There are also competing plans from Democrats and Republicans. And I talked earlier today with Leader Hakeem Jeffries on Capitol Hill. He was very frustrated and said that he didn't see a path to compromise between the two parties. He says nobody's talking. Listen to what he said.
Part of the challenge with Republicans is that they've broken all of their promises. They indicated that they were going to lower costs. In fact, lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down in America. Costs have gone up. Housing costs are through the roof. Grocery prices through the roof. Electricity bills through the roof. And now, because my Republican colleagues refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, we know tens of millions of people are about to experience dramatically increased health care costs.
Congressman Fitzgerald, I'm pretty confident you will not agree with anything that Hakeem Jeffries says about this, but I understand that Speaker Johnson is planning to put a Republican proposal on the table at some point before the end of next week. So I'd love for you to be able to speak for your side of the aisle now and tell us what you think should be in there and whether this can pass the House.
Well, let me just comment quickly on Leader Jeffries. I mean, broken promises, that's what Obamacare is. It's a huge broken promise to the American people. Now, with that being said, we do need to pick up the pieces and figure out where we're going. Senator Schumer's 3-year extension is a non-starter. I don't even think he could possibly take himself seriously on that. It's got to be a negotiating platform for him. No one in D.C. thinks 3 years is even a serious idea. You're right. There's about 35, maybe they're up to 40 members, a bipartisan group that on Thursday kind of launched this idea that a 1-year extension that includes some reforms might be the way to go. I can tell you right now, I still do not support that, and I'm not aware of some of my more conservative friends that are have examined that program are there or even close to that. So we're in a place right now where the Speaker and the President of the United States need to come up with something that I think can garner enough support that once again the White House can put their full effort behind and make the case to members that this is a short gap kind of extension that could get us to a different place on the Affordable Health Care Act. But that has not happened yet. And the clock is ticking. We know that we've got 2 more weeks here to kind of pull this together. I think all the members understand that. We do not want to go anywhere near another shutdown. So with all that being said, I mean, I think the next 2 weeks are critical.
Well, we'd love to stay in touch with you on this, Congressman. Thank you for the insights this evening. Republican Congressman Scott Fitzgerald of Wisconsin. We appreciate the time.